I heard these reports that Golden State is interested in trading for Anthony Davis and for Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. That's the reports. I don't know how true that is, but my take on it is this, and I heard it before, and I think I made a comment on one of my videos about this before. Anthony Davis is a great player. We all know that, but Draymond Green and Klay Thompson fits so well in that Golden State puzzle. It's not even close. If you take them two off the team and add Anthony Davis, he doesn't do what those two players can do as individuals. And Draymond Green is one of the best defensive low post players and perimeter players. He can guard some guys on the perimeter, and he can play make. He's, like I said, he's a fourth option on Golden State, and he can give you a triple-double on any given night. And Klay Thompson is a two-way player. He can guard point guards, as we see him guard. He had to guard Kyrie in the finals and guard other point guards, shooting guards, small forwards. And he's probably the second or third best shooter to ever play in the NBA. And I don't think you try to bring in Anthony Davis and let those two guys go. But let's see what these guys got to say about it.
Okay? He's the reporter that spoke on this for The Athletic. He covers the team up in the Bay Area.
He used to cover me in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's a really good journalist.
He really is.
And he's not talking about them doing it right now. He's talking about them doing it potentially a year from now. Is the most likely if they were to do it. And anyone that says that's laughable, it's insane, it would never happen, those are the same things being...
I don't say it's laughable. I say Golden State shouldn't do it. I mean, I don't say, unless Golden State trying to save money, they don't think they can sign Draymond Green and Klay Thompson to long-term deals. But other than that, to me, it don't make basketball sense. See, this is not NBA 2K or fantasy type thing. You just can't throw players together and think they're going to gel. You put Anthony Davis in there, what? Anthony Davis doesn't give you the long-range shooting of a Klay Thompson. He's not going to guard a point guard. He's not going to guard a small forward. He's not going to guard a shooting guard. He's not going to do those type of things. Now, he can do a lot of the things that Draymond can give you, but does he have the personality like Draymond, the leader? To me, I think Draymond is the leader on that team. I think Draymond is the fire on that team. I think he's the glue of that team, and you just can't just throw players together and think they're going to play great like it's some fantasy thing.
Said about the Warriors going out and getting Kevin Durant. Now, that was cleaner because that was a player choosing to go there via free agency rather than via a trade. But could they make this happen? Well, I mean, yeah, Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala's contracts match up. You could add them, you could trade them.
They can make it happen, but should they? That's the question.
If they're trying to sign Klay Thompson to an extension, they could then flip him. Like, a lot of things to where this absolutely could happen. I would be careful if I'm Golden State in trying to have this be out there while I'm also potentially trying to sell Klay and Draymond on signing extensions now, which will cost them an enormous amount of money. If Klay and Draymond sign extensions early and forego true unrestricted free agency, the Warriors are limited in what they can pay them, as opposed to them hitting free agency. They could stay with the Warriors, but for Klay it would cost them about $80 million signing early. Draymond around the same. So I'd be very careful in letting it be out there. We might want to trade for Anthony Davis while we're also going to Klay and or Draymond saying, re-up now, let's lock into you now. But I wouldn't put anything past the Warriors. They're not worried about the competitive balance of the league. They're not worried about the ratings of the NBA Finals.
Nick Wright is funny, man. Nick Wright, you funny, man. Because what you saying is when LeBron James went to Miami and he joined Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, were they worried about the competitive balance in the league? Did they sit around and say, hey, Dwayne, why don't you go to Sacramento? I'll go to Washington. And, hey, Chris Bosh, why don't you go somewhere like the Atlanta Hawks? And let's have some competitive balance in the league. Did they say that, or did they all say, let's join together, let's stack the deck, and let's win as many titles as we can? Because we know they was talking that way, because at the press conference, LeBron James said not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7 titles. Remember that line? So they wasn't worried about the competitive balance. Look, that's asinine. Players should not be worried about the competitive balance of the league. they should be able to go where they want to go in this new era of basketball, where guys can go get up and go wherever they want to go within reason, especially when they're free agents. And they shouldn't worry about how another team cannot make their team better. Like what, Sacramento Kings, who've been in the NBA lottery the last 8 years and drafted in the top 10, and they can't seem to get it right. So that's Golden State Warriors franchise fault. Is that their fault that Atlanta can't get their stuff together? That Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago, and Sacramento and all those teams were tanking and trying to get better? Is that their problem? No, they drafted. See, people keep on saying about this Kevin Durant thing. Golden State drafted very, very well. Unlike Sacramento, they drafted Curry, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. They drafted Draymond Green, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. I know a lot of people saying he's not, but he is. They drafted Klay Thompson, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. They drafted 3 Hall of Famers. So, and OKC Thunder at one point drafted 3 Hall of Famers. They just couldn't hold on to 2 of them. They drafted Kevin Durant, they drafted James Harden, they drafted Russell Westbrook. All 3 of which are going to be Hall of Famers. All 3 of which are going to be MVP, regular season MVPs, because I believe James Harden going to win the award tonight. But they can't sit around. Golden State can't sit around worrying about the competitive balance of the league. It's their job to be as successful as they can. Mr. Nick Wright. It's their job to be successful as successful as they can. They shouldn't be worried about other teams being competitive with them.
If they have the 2nd and 3rd best players in the world, if they can acquire the 4th, I'm sure they'll try to. The Warriors haven't been relevant that much the last 20 years. And now we would say that this franchise, one of the most popular in all of sports, why would you give that up? So when people say, well, why wouldn't?
Thank you, Chris Carter. Why would you worry about other teams when you are trying to crush those teams? What, you supposed to say, hey, here go Curry, Sacramento, get here. I'm trying to help y'all get better. Hey, Memphis Grizzlies, here go Kevin Durant. We trying to help y'all get better. No, they're supposed to worry about their team.
You'd be looking, I would think that in a couple years, they're going to be looking at adding a star, because that's their formula. Let's get as many stars together as possible, especially as long as we have, especially I think around Steph as a shooter. Let's put some other players. That's how the Lakers continued their dynasty for a long time. That's how the Celtics did it for a long time. So I'm not surprised at all. If it's not him, it's going to be someone else. So I'm not shocked at all, because in the NBA, now once you get a taste of it, and with them winning 3 out of the last 4, how long do they keep? Because as a player that's won 3 in Klay and Draymond, how much more do I sacrifice? I mean, because what's the difference between 3 and 4? Really not that much of a difference, but you talking about me taking $50 to $80 million less? Now, these players, I'm sure that they're looking at what's best for them, because it becomes hard to get people to continue to sacrifice, and it's going to be hard to keep this team totally together. So I'm not shocked at all they would be looking at a...
Now, I agree with Chris Carter. It comes to a point to where Draymond Green and Klay Thompson are going to have to say, okay, now how much is another title worth, versus my money? Now, they shouldn't be taking no 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80 million haircuts on their money. No, that's asinine. But if the Warriors can come close to what they are asking for, or their marketplace, then I believe they're going to stay. But yes, you're right. They shouldn't they shouldn't value more titles, because they already got 3. They shouldn't value more and more titles, for losing $80 million. That's just not mathematically good.
Playing like Anthony Davis.
So you asked the question. I'd love you to answer it. Why would you take a team that's really at the beginning, if KD wins another one, of their dynasty, that has all the pieces in place, and say, well, let's try to tweak it a little bit. Maybe we can make it even better. This is a team that won during the...
But see, that's not tweaking it. When you trade Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, that's not tweaking your roster. That's really cutting your roster in half, cutting your chemistry in half, and then you add in Anthony Davis, and you think it's gonna run like a well-oiled machine. It's not. Right now, they're running like a well-oiled machine. Like I said, if they don't think they can afford Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, then I can understand. But if they can afford them, come close to what they're asking for, without asking them 2 young men that sacrifice too much money, then you keep them. You don't just say, well, we're going to tweak the team and we're going to add. No, it doesn't work like that.
Regular season that kind of skated through the postseason. Why would you want to tinker with
For
that?
the same reason that they took a 73-win team that had already won a title and said, we will totally revamp our bench. We will get rid of Harrison Barnes because we can...
But see, Nick Wright, this is where you don't understand basketball. But see, when they added Kevin Durant. They didn't take anyone away. They added Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant works very well within the confines of their offense. Now, yes, Kevin Durant does go like the isolation plays, but it's good to have a guy that can break anybody down that's guarding them. Klay Thompson is more of a spot-up shooter. Steph Curry can break guys down, but you can get physical with Steph Curry. Durant can break down anybody in the league. He's 7 feet tall. He can rise over anybody. And he shoots, he passes within reason, and he gets to the hole. So he fits very well in what they're doing. They were not interrupted by what he's doing because you can see the success that they had the last couple years. The last 2 years Kevin Durant has been there, they won titles. So he did not mess up their chemistry in any way. If you take away Draymond Green and Klay Thompson and add Anthony Davis, you're looking at a totally different team.
Add one of the very best players alive. Listen, if they can do this...
See, I understand what Nick Wright is coming. See, I understand Nick Wright's angle. His angle is he's a LeBron James supporter, heavy supporter, and he's just upset that the Golden State Warriors came out of nowhere. Nobody seen them coming. They came out of nowhere. They threw a monkey wrench into LeBron James' legacy. They hung three finals NBA final losses on his record, and Nick Wright and a lot of LeBron James supporters don't like it. But it is what it is. LeBron James look. He did it in Miami. He said they were not going to win, but not 1 but 7, because you know why he said that? Because he understood that they stacked the deck against the league. Now, what? You mad at the Warriors because they stacking the deck? They called LeBron. They match LeBron and then raise him another 500 tokens. You mad? But hey, that's hey, look, that's the nature of the business. LeBron James got to try to get somewhere. Like I said, he's ring chasing. He got to try to get somewhere where he can beat them. Subscribe to the channel, man. I'm out.